Why, hello, interwebs. So let me just go over this very quickly. All right, let's hold the phone like this, a little bit better. Read this quote by Carl Jung, and I know there's a lot of people that are lost out there. I know I'm looking at the wrong side of the phone. I know there's a lot of people that are lost out there. I know there's a lot of people that are asking about their passions. I know there's a lot of people that are asking, Charles, how do I want to, my goal is, my desire is, my life wants to be this. Listen to this quote for a second. Carl Jung says, we cannot change anything unless we accept it. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are pushing the always be positive, always be, have faith, always have faith, which is true. You need to, and you always need to have an area in your life where you just say, I need to change, but you may not know what that change is. It could be with your finances, it could be with your body, it could be with your work, your career, your passion. Maybe you feel anxiety, maybe you just need something. You don't know what that is, but you need something, okay? So as Carl Jung says, we cannot change anything unless we accept it, okay? So what does that mean, accept? David Goggins has talked about this too, but this is one of the most important things. And yes, it is step one in Alcoholics Anonymous, which is accept that you are something, okay? And you are not living up to what you want. That acceptance is not saying, I accept this forever. You are just being honest with yourself. You are being authentic with yourself. That where I am on a scale is not where I want to be. My debt or my grades or my girlfriend or my relationship is not where I want it to be. That acceptance is fine, okay? But learned helplessness is taking that acceptance and accepting and saying, I cannot change. That where I am is a fixed mindset or is fixed, and your mindset says, this is how it's always going to be. That's learned helplessness. That's not good. What's going on, Erwin? What's going on, Chris? How we doing? So why did I also write Solitude? Okay, we're in an era. I'm also reading a book right now, and I just came from another one, Spiral Dynamics. And essentially, spiral dynamics is the relationship as you age, or as evolution, or as nature, as anything spirals. Everything is in a spiral, okay? It could be a spiral up, as in evolution. It could be a spiral down, as in a corporation or a relationship. So in other words, there is no drop. Okay, so if you really truly look at the stock market, you'll slowly over time see it went down, okay? But that's over time. And imagine that as a spiral going up. So you're essentially building links around each other going up. That comes from Solitude. Here's the best example, okay? So I have a guy that I'm making sales calls with. He came in 2 days ago, and he is so outside of his comfort zone that he actually had to leave work. He's like, I'm sick. He just months of making calls and pushing himself and doing it consistently, and never have done this before. I've pushed him so far. And by the way, that's not good. So that's on me. And the next day I came in, I said, this is normal. Anytime you do something that you're not used to, anytime you're spiraling up, and there will be a time where you stop and you go, I'm not used to this. This is a lot. It's too much. But that's why there is a spiral, because there is no straight up. A straight up is it collapses. A spiral means, okay, I can just go back, and then let's go back up and keep on going. So with Carl Jung, the acceptance is the first step. That is where you build the spiral. where you build it in solitude. So essentially he came in the following day and I said, okay, his name's Eric. I said, Eric, when I was at Halstead and my manager came to me and he said, listen, you're going to be kicked out of this company. I would just go to Canada, Toronto, probably. He goes, you're going to be kicked out of this company if you do not make $184,000. $184,000 at the time, by the way, it was in 6 months, at the time, was insane. Was it, like, that was like someone telling me, Charles, next year you have to make $10 million or $1 million next year. You have to make that. That was my mentality, was I have no idea how. But this is the thing is, he put me in a position where I had to accept that I'm not going to be here and there needs to be a step. So essentially I left his office. I walked out, never forget this, middle of July. It was hot as balls. And I'm walking down Broadway and 13th Street is the office. It's still there. And I'm walking down Broadway, and that was the decision. The decision came to me, and this is going to come to you at any time when something challenging happens, okay? Something challenging is going to happen in your life, and you will take one of two roads. That is it. The road is, do I keep on going, or do I go back to a 9 to 5? Is real estate right for me? Is the question that I asked. Is real estate right for me? And it wasn't. Can you come in like 5 minutes?
Okay.
All right. Got someone outside the office. Probably telling me, oh, I gotta label my my coconut milk. So I made the decision, and that was the acceptance. It said, okay, Charles, you made only $1,000 per month for the first 6 months. Your manager just told you you will not have a desk and you'll be out of a job at a company that you really, really worked hard to get into. That was the acceptance, okay? This is the thing, okay? Thomas Jefferson was quoted, completely butchering this quote. Thomas Jefferson was quoted as saying, I'm not gonna read newspapers anymore because Aristotle, Plato, and he mentioned some other people, are my reads of choice. And essentially what he was saying was that even then, they were trying to do something. They were trying to fuck with his mind. That was in the 1700s. Okay, we're in an era now that there is company after company trying to take your attention. So what do? We give our attention to all of these things that, by the way, are not what we want to do. Solitude is what we want to do. In solitude is where you truly find what you want to do, where you really messed up in life, and where you say, you know what, I accept I'm not really where I want to be. Completely fine. If you stay there, that's not fine. Acceptance is fine. Staying there is not fine. Okay? So essentially, I've really thought about this over the last couple of days because I know there's going to be a windfall of business. Okay, faith. Let me just go over the etymology of happiness. Etymology is essentially the history of the word, okay? And happiness, the root of happiness was actually not what we should be doing. Is there an email I can catch you up on, Charles? Yeah. Do I want to say it online? No. However, the root word of happiness was actually chance, was luck. It was luck, okay? Then Socrates, I think it was Socrates, actually came along and he said that happiness is pleasure. okay? So then I started thinking about that. I said before that it was chance or luck. Then Socrates said that it was pleasure. So then hedonism started taking off. Hedonism means you live right now, don't worry about the future, it's not guaranteed, and drink, have sex, and doesn't really matter. Nothing really matters except right now. Pleasure is the only thing you should be focused on, okay? So the opposite is obviously there is a future. You should have order in your life instead of chaos, okay? So if you actually switch that around and you say, fast forward that to that we have the pursuit of happiness. We have the pursuit, okay? So that means our default state is not happiness because we have the pursuit of it, okay? We're not chasing it. And ironically enough, think about this for a second. This is powerful what I'm about to say. Is that, and this was all while I was on a treadmill in solitude, okay? I wasn't listening to anything. Is that when you scroll through Instagram, you are essentially happy, okay? Because your body is in a state of getting dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, all the good feel-good hormones. While you're in that state, while you're scrolling through Instagram, your body is also saying, I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm not doing anything that's uncharacteristically risky. I don't have any survival worries right now. I'm safe. When you're done, here's the point. When you're done, how do you feel? When you're done doing something like TV, drama, bitching, complaining, Instagram, email, checking your phone, whatever the case is, when you are done, how do you feel? Compare that to this. I'm on a treadmill. It sucks because I'm exercising. I don't want to be there. I have nothing to stimulate my brain. It's boring, but I'm training my brain to do what I fucking want it to do. When I'm done, between Instagram and between the treadmill, what is the difference? A sense of accomplishment. I feel that is what happiness is happiness is essentially progress. Happiness can come with, receiving something, but I feel there's two ways to measure happiness. The depth of your happiness, in other words, the elation of your happiness, like winning the Super Bowl because you went on such a long journey through your whole life, so that's the depth and also the length of the happiness. I give you something, I give you a book. You'll be happy for an hour, okay? I give you earbuds. I give you a car, maybe you're happy for a month, okay? Those are unearned. Those are not achievements. Okay, so what I'm thinking is that if there is a journey that you take down, and this is very boring, but if there is a journey you take down, is that the happiness is not the championship. That's the fucking weird thing that I'm trying to figure out, is that it is not the championship. It is the person you became to gain the championship. It is the person that I become to wake up. It is not, I don't become someone different by having this. So if you take this even deeper, it is why people that gain a book or AirPods or a car, they don't have the achievement. They haven't received the achievement inside. So Chris, it's cbotensten@gmail. cbotensten@gmail. All right. So if you want to shoot me an email, I didn't want to be a dick before, but it's cbotensten@gmail. It's my personal one. Go put it on all the things. Doesn't really matter. But that is essentially the acceptance. So the in conclusion, and I really want to bring this up again because I made a video a couple of days ago. By the way, if you haven't checked out the last video, I don't know how to make thumbnails. So the thumbnail blew. I don't know if anyone actually, but go listen to the story, okay? But the 2 videos ago is that we tend towards chaos, okay? So chaos is when you're accepting everything into your life. You're accepting everything into your life right now, okay? That is all the social media, all the drama, all the complaining, all the bad relationships, all the alcohol, all the drugs, all the bad food, all the sugar, everything else, okay? Wonderful. You're accepting all that. That's chaos, okay? To have order, you have to say, and as I said to the one guy that came by before, yeah, it's the coconut milk. God damn it. So, as I said to Eric this morning, is I said, you're doing really well. I had to give him a compliment. You're doing really well because we're focusing on what we need to do. Sales calls every 45 minutes. We use this. This is every 45 minutes. We turn this upside down. When it's done, we know it's 45 minutes. We then turn this upside down. This is 15 minutes, and then that's our rest time. And this is how we track our calls, okay? I said, we're right now doing things that agents are not willing to do. And this is the second part, and this is the most important part. I said, we are doing exactly what we need to do. This is what we need to focus on, is what we are doing right now that we should not be doing. That is as important. What am I doing right now that I should not be doing? Okay? I cannot tell you passion. I cannot tell you what you should be doing. And I understand it because I was actually I thought about that twice. I said, holy shit, all these people that are in this world right now that have no fucking passion. They have no passion. And the reason being is they are not going to war with themselves, as David Goggins says. I believe that. You have to go to war with yourself. And the only way to go to war with yourself is when you challenge yourself physically. Or you challenge yourself mentally. How do you challenge yourself physically? That's easy. You run a half marathon, or you run a 5K, or you walk outside if you don't walk. That's easy. But you go beyond where your body says, no. You go beyond that. Mentally is the hard thing. Mentally is, what are the top ones that people want to avoid? Shame, embarrassment, rejection. Those are the top ones. By the way, all of those, shame and embarrassment, you're walking around naked in your apartment, not a big deal because no one else is there. So all of those things are, guess what? With or around someone else. That's the only way shame is one of the biggest emotions, because back in the day, if you're ashamed, you're out of the tribe and you're dead. Embarrassed, you couldn't mate, you couldn't replicate, you couldn't pass on your genes. Rejection, same thing. It's all biological, but it all comes down to mentally understanding that solitude, walking around, not with these, not with music, not looking at your phone, go into that uncomfortable state and remain there and sit there. Don't look at your phone. Just sit there. And literally, that's how you build it up. So he comes in today, Eric comes in today, and fucking dominates the phone calls. He made 10 phone calls, 6 contacts, 2 appointments. I told him, you made the right choice, because there was a time that you probably were thinking about it that said, I don't know if real estate's right for me. On Wednesday, when you left because you're sick, you probably said, is real estate right for me? Everyone has that. Is running right for me? When I'm 10 miles in and I have 10 miles into the run on the triathlon, which means I've already done a 1.2 mile swim, a 56 mile bike, and I'm 10 miles into the run and I'm exhausted and I see everyone walking, that's the winning mindset. Okay? So I'm gonna pop off. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. Acceptance through solitude is the first step. And solitude is only where you put your attention. And everything about this world is where you put your attention. Where you put your attention is where you put your time. And where you put your time is where you actually, what you actually care about is where you put your time. So have an amazing day. Enjoy your weekend. Any questions?